Hello and welcome to the Film Pulse Podcast. This is episode number 304. My name's Adam Patterson. With me today, we have Kevin Rakestraw. Hey, Kevin.
How you doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
Doing okay.
Nice. This week on the show, we'll be discussing David Gordon Green's Halloween, along with someone watching on the watch list, VOD releases, Blu-ray releases, all of that fun stuff that we normally do. One bit of housekeeping news real quick. The Halloween episode of Saved by the 90s is out, so make sure you download that. You can find us on iTunes and Stitcher and TuneIn and Spotify and all of those podcast platforms, or you can visit our website at 90spodcast.com. Check that out, give it a listen. We talk about post-Scream teen horror films of the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
So it was really fun to do. So be sure to give that a look. With that, let's dive into our review. So Halloween, as I said, directed by David Gordon Green, written by David Gordon Green and Danny McBride.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there were a couple other, I think it was
Jeff Fradley.
Yes, Jeff Fradley. I have a synopsis here. Laurie Strode comes to her final confrontation with Michael Myers, the masked figure who has haunted her since she narrowly escaped his killing spree on Halloween night 4 decades ago. I can't believe it's been 40 years.
It has.
40 years, Kevin. That's insane.
It's been 40 years, my friend, which does seem kind of ridiculous.
Sure, yeah. And there's been many sequels
Yes.
to Halloween since then. Some decent, some not so good. My first question for you, Kevin, is what is your familiarity with the Halloween franchise?
I'm glad that you asked this because at the you just said that there was a number of sequels. And how many Halloween movies have there been?
I think 11.
11. Jesus Christ. This is the first one I've seen. So
Ever? You didn't see the original?
No. So that's the answer to your question, I think.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I tried really hard like last night to see if it was streaming anywhere that I could squeeze it in. That didn't happen. So yeah, this is the first Halloween. and from what I could tell, there was an 8-year-old in my screening, and he said that this is the best Halloween. So I don't know if he's seen all 11, but the 8-year-old kid in my screening said that this is the best Halloween.
So just to recap, there was the original John Carpenter Halloween. By the way, that's the best one. Like, period.
Gotcha.
There's no debate on that. And then there was Halloween 2. Then Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, was the one that did not have Michael Myers, and it was actually like a completely separate story. It had nothing to do with the franchise as we know it.
Okay.
Because at the time they were gonna like do these sort of, I guess maybe like yearly Halloween movies, but have them be like separate stories, like an anthology.
Okay.
And it didn't work. The third one was not well received. I think people were expecting Michael Myers and just pissed when they didn't get him. But Halloween 3 is actually really, it's a good standalone movie. I think that if it wasn't called Halloween 3, like if it was just called Season of the Witch, it would be a lot more successful.
Yeah.
I like Halloween 3. And then then they brought him back for Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. Then there was Halloween 5, which I think that subtitle was Michael Myers' Revenge, or the Revenge of Michael Myers.
Okay.
Halloween 6 was The Curse of Michael Myers. Then we have the 7th one was Halloween H2O, 20 years later.
Okay.
And then we have the 8th one, which was Halloween Resurrection, I believe. And then the 9th one was the Rob Zombie Halloween. And then the 10th one was the sequel to the Rob Zombie Halloween 2. And then the 11th one is this one. So, yes. So
Michael Myers has not been in space. That's interesting.
No, all of the Halloween movies have been, they start getting a little wacky once you get into like 5 and 6 is really when it sort of goes crazy, when they try to explain Michael Myers and why he is seemingly unkillable and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And Halloween H2O, I remember really disliking it at the time. I went to the theater to see that, and I remember just really hating it. I watched it recently for the first time since I saw it in theaters, and it's not horrible. It feels very 90s, which I actually enjoyed.
Yeah.
And like you have Josh Hartnett playing Laurie's son in it.
Okay.
You have LL Cool J. So there was some fun to be had. Joseph Gordon-Levitt is in the opening scene. He gets killed.
Yes.
So anyway, with all of the Halloween movies, I can't believe you haven't even seen the original. What the hell?
I've seen I've seen 1 out of 11, and that's the one from 2018. So, but yeah, no, I'm an expert. Let's do it.
Well, this might yield an interesting perspective, because I think most people that saw the recent one, saw at least the original. Or even the Rob Zombie one that came out in 2007.
I mean,
but
I think Halloween has permeated enough into popular culture that I know at least what I need to know, I think. Like, I know that he's kind of indestructible and that he can't be killed.
Sure, yeah.
I know that. And I know, like, that Jamie Lee Curtis, they know that there's some history there, that she survived, and she's waiting to kill this motherfucker.
I don't think it's 100% necessary that you see the original one before seeing the new one. The new one is very much a sequel to the original one. So
okay.
What David Gordon Green and his crew did was they sort of threw out all of the other ones.
Yeah.
So 2 all the way up through the Rob Zombie ones, they just threw all of that out and started over. So this is really a sequel to the original one that takes place 40 years later.
Yeah, which I think they do a decent enough job. Like, I didn't feel lost.
Right, yeah.
Like, I feel like I maybe missed some, like, throwaway stuff and some, Easter eggs here and there, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. But for the most part, I didn't feel completely lost throughout the narrative of this movie.
Sure, yeah. There were a lot of Easter eggs. There were a lot of callbacks. I mean, there were even some Halloween 3 Season of the Witch nods in there, like the scene when they show the kids trick-or-treating. They're using the masks from Halloween 3. So there's a lot of kind of winks and nods to the other entries in the franchise, some of the other entries. But for the most part, that stuff's not necessary. I think that it's helpful to see the original one just so that you can understand the trauma that Laurie went through, because that's a big part of this movie, right? Is the long-term effects that this event had on her life, and what sort of what it turned her into, which was essentially like a prepper. She's like, she turned into a prepper because of this, and that it sort of ruined her life. And she spends the rest of her days preparing for his return because she just knows that he's going to be back. And yeah, he comes back. So what did you think of Halloween 2018 overall?
It's one of those things where you kind of touched upon the trauma aspects of it. I found it extremely hollow and simple. Like, it didn't really have anything to say. There was no real insight or anything. Like, it wasn't complicated in any sense of the word, which would like elevate it. But at the same time, I found it to be an enjoyable time. Like, it's a good time. It just, for what it is, it's just kind of straightforward. It's just slasher. He's coming after you. They're fighting back. Overall, enjoyable time for an hour and 45 minutes. But outside of that, it missed something. It missed some like complexity to it that could elevate it to something better.
Yeah, I agree to a certain extent. I think that it tackles an interesting theme, but yes, I agree. It doesn't go very deeply into that. You know, a lot of it is about the sort of broken relationship that Laurie has with her daughter, played by Judy Greer, and they go about that on a very kind of surface level
Yeah.
way,
Yeah.
where you know she doesn't want to engage with her mother because of the upbringing that she had with, you know, learning how to shoot guns and just constantly be preparing for this inevitable showdown, you know, turning this house into a fortress and sort of becoming agoraphobic and all of that. And I think that it is an interesting exploration, but I will agree that they don't dive too deep into the sort of psychology behind it. That being said, I think that this is a really solid slasher movie, and I really liked what David Gordon Green did with the film aesthetically, because if you look at his other movies, this movie looks, at least to me, it looks very different than his previous movies, like stylistically. And I think that it was like he was sort of adopting the look of the original Halloween and using similar camera movements and stuff to adapt his style to what he believes that this should be. And I think that that was an interesting choice. Like this didn't look like a David Gordon Green movie. It looked like a John Carpenter Halloween movie.
Not necessarily, but it seemed like he peeked through occasionally. There was a couple of like close-ups of people where it seemed like his style was kind of creeping through that, which was something that I kind of noticed where you don't normally see that like in a slasher movie, these like intimate close-ups.
Yeah, that's true. There's like a lot of not a lot, but he uses like several sort of the like crash zooms and stuff in this that I don't know if I've ever seen him use those techniques before, and it felt very vintage. Like you don't really see those a whole lot these days, like, you know, the super fast zooms on things.
God, I love the super zoom.
Yeah, same here. And that added to the sort of authenticity of this movie. It's a modern movie. It takes place now, and it looks, you know, very slick and polished, but at the same time it sort of had that, you know, 70s, 80s, late 70s, early 80s like aesthetic to it. I don't know how to describe it better than what I just did. I don't know if I'm doing it justice.
It does feel very it feels like it's taking place in modern times. I mean, they're talking about banh mi sandwiches, for Christ's sake. But at the same time, it does feel kind of vintage. It does have a vintage feel for it. Even though I haven't seen the original Halloween, it felt like a throwback to me. Just like, you know, other slashers that I've seen from the 70s and 80s. It felt like one of those, but just kind of like a modern spin on it.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed that. I thought that the movie was a little bit disjointed in the beginning. There was this whole thing involving these podcasters making a show about Michael Myers, and it felt like that was simply used as a tool to get his mask back.
Yeah.
And that didn't necessarily, it felt very rough to me. Like all of the whole podcaster bit felt it only existed so he could get his mask.
Yeah.
And I was just like, all right, I'm not really into this. And I felt like the movie itself was just, it was a little bit rough around the edges until he got out and he got his mask and started going after Laurie. That's when I think it really picked up the pace. And I think it really came together once he made it to the house. Like that's when I was like, oh, you know, started sitting up in my seat a little bit. Like stuff started moving a lot more once he got to the house.
I did like that up until the house part, like the idea of Michael Myers, you know, I'm seeing him for the first time, is like he was kind of scary in the sense that he just seemed indiscriminate. Like he was just killing everyone. He needed a knife. He walked into that house. He killed someone to get a knife. He needed his mask, so he killed every single person there to get his mask. He was just killing people left and right. He killed a ridiculous amount of people.
Yep. There's no stopping him.
And he should have died like, I don't know how many times. Dude got bodied by an SUV. Just fucking straight smashed into. And he just wakes up. He just wakes up in the backseat like 5 minutes later. It's just like, hey, what happened?
Well, I like that they knew. Like, they knew he was going to come back. Like, they knew that wasn't going to kill him.
Yeah. Because for a split second there, I kind of forgot about that. And I was like, this is an interesting twist. They're going to kill Michael Myers, and now we have a new guy. Wow.
Oh,
Let's see if this plays off. Let's see if this works out for him. This is a move.
Not to get into spoiler territory, but yes, that was a really. I thought for a second they were going to do that too, and I was like, "Wow, people are going to be pissed about that." But
yeah,
especially because of who it was. You know, you're just like, I don't know about that.
Yeah, you're just like, no, thank you. Like, don't do that. Don't reinvent the wheel, please.
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't do it, but I also like, because he was the equivalent of Dr. Loomis, who was the other than Laurie, probably the main non-Michael Myers character of the series. He was actually in more of them than Laurie was. Donald Pleasance, the character by Donald Pleasance. That guy was sort of the new Loomis character.
Yeah.
And I thought that what they did with him was really interesting. I also think one of the highlights was Jabrail Nantambu.
Yes. Thank you. He was my favorite part of this whole fucking movie. He was so great.
He was so funny.
Just clipping his nastiest toenails.
I really think that he was a gem.
I love that
he was so good.
He pops up, he sits stock still straight up in his bed and just goes, oh shit, runs out of there, comes back.
Yeah.
He's like, oh fuck, runs out. He's like, Dave, you're gonna die. And he just leaves the house and we never see him again.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, that kid was the best.
I thought that was great. There were some really solid moments of horror in this, and there were some comedic elements to it as well, and then there were some sort of just straight up badass action moments too.
Mm-hmm.
You have Jamie Lee Curtis coming back 40 years later, well, 20 years later if you want to count H2O, and being this sort of badass Laurie Strode who is ready, like she's ready for Michael, and you get to see, the two of them going toe to toe. And I think it's great to see that. And Judy Greer as Karen was, she was great as well.
Yeah. It was fun to see Judy Greer, kick some ass towards the end of the movie. Cause it seems like for, I don't know how many years now, but it seems like she's kind of just gotten stuck in this portraying the same character over and over, where she's just kind of this, disaffected housewife type deal that she seems to keep playing. So to see her with a rifle was kind of fun.
Yeah. And then you have Toby Huss as Ray, the husband, and I love Toby Huss in everything he's in, especially The Adventures of Pete and Pete. So overall, I enjoyed Halloween. I wasn't blown away by it. I was really excited for it. I had very high expectations for this, and I didn't love it, but I liked it a lot. I thought it was solid. Comparing it to the Rob Zombie films, I remember really liking the first Rob Zombie Halloween. I did not like the second one. I still think that this one is better. It feels like a more proper entry. Rob Zombie, whereas David Gordon Green sort of adapted his style to fit within the Halloween franchise, Rob Zombie made it his own. And there's very little of the kind of standard slasher styling in Rob Zombie's Halloween. It's a lot more violent and darker and just grittier and just nasty.
I can see that.
And I think it's fine. I still think Rob Zombie's Halloween is good, but it's just very different. A lot of the movie focuses on Michael Myers himself and the psychology behind Michael Myers. So in a lot of ways, it also sort of tackles the film in an interesting way. But I think that this one is more enjoyable. So I would say that, and it had a huge opening weekend too. I don't know if you saw that, but it was like $80 million opening weekend, close to it.
It sure did, it seems.
I think it was the best opening of any of the Halloween movies.
Wow.
So yeah, it's pretty huge. So yeah, solid recommend for me. Let's go ahead and give it a score. Kevin, what are you going to give Halloween out of 10?
I'm at a light recommend. I'm thinking like 6.5. I just wish it did a little bit more. I just wish it wasn't so, simple and straightforward. But not that that's a bad thing,
Yeah. I'm sitting at somewhere between a 7 and a 7.5. I'll say 7.
Okay.
On this one.
And this is the thing that gets me, is because I've been watching A Haunting of Hill House at the same time. And, what that show, miniseries, whatever it is, does with like the effects of trauma is a lot more complex and enjoyable to watch than what Halloween does, where it's just kind of like, it ruined her relationships.
Yeah.
She's a prepper.
Let's use that as a little bit of a transition, because I also watched The Haunting of Hell House. I always say Hell House. Even I wrote a review, and there was twice in the review that I typed The Haunting of Hell House, not Hill House.
Yes.
Anyway, how far are you into this show now?
I think I'm on episode, I want to say 4. I think I just finished 4, the Luke episode, where it kind of goes through Luke's.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where I'm at.
Yeah, so for those not familiar, The Haunting of Hill House is a Netflix miniseries based on a novel of the same name that came out in the 50s, I believe.
Yeah, Shirley Jackson.
By Shirley Jackson, yeah. From what I understand, the show is inspired by the novel, but from reading the synopsis of the book on Amazon, it doesn't sound like there's a lot of similarities.
Okay.
It sounds like it's very, very loosely based on it. But Mike Flanagan did the show. I'm a big fan of his work. Pretty much everything, almost everything that he's made, I've been a fan of. And I loved this series. I thought it was so great. I mean, it's exactly what I want from a good horror story.
Mm-hmm.
The deep dive into these characters and showing the effects of this event that has happened on them and what it's done to their adult lives, and the way that Flanagan plays with time in this is just so perfect. He gives you these little breadcrumbs to follow with the story. Like when it starts, at least for me, like I wasn't even sure who was who and what was happening. Like the jumps in time, like I was like, oh, okay, wait, is this like a flashback? Like who are these people? And as it starts to come into focus, you realize like there's a really rich story developing here. And I love that he spends an entire episode on each character and then brings them together. It's just so great. I can't recommend The Haunting of Hill House. I did it again. It just feels natural to say Hell House. I think there is like,
there's that Hell House movie, which I think
Yeah.
you did watch. Wasn't it like a spoof documentary type deal or something?
Well, I think it's called like Hell House Inc. or something, but I didn't see that.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with everything you said. Like, I mean, I'm only 4 episodes in, but man, it is definitely scratching that itch.
You'll have to let me know. Maybe we'll talk about it briefly on the Halloween show next week. You'll have to let me know what you thought of episode 5, because that was my favorite episode of the bunch. And also what you thought about the end, because from what I follow Mike Flanagan on Twitter, and he was saying that a lot of people, maybe not a lot of people, but some people have issues with the ending.
Okay.
And I thought it was a great way to end the series, but I'll be curious to hear your thoughts.
All right.
On the show as a whole. But yeah, it's so good, man. And it almost demands a rewatch too, because there's so many little hints and clues and hidden little Easter eggs throughout it.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the things that I never really understood with a lot of haunted house movies is like, because there's a lot of little clips and scenes here and there where there's this like a ghost just chilling in the background. And it's never addressed or anything. It's just like as the camera pans over to the action on the left, oh, there's a ghost.
Yep.
And the fucking floating guy with the bowler hat.
Oh yeah, man.
Oh yeah. That is one of my favorite things that I've seen in some time. I love that guy, and I want him to have his own thing, and I just want to see more of him. I need him. He's
one of the mainstays of the show, so
yes.
You'll see more of him.
I just love that he's floating around, but he still uses his stick.
Yeah, so every episode he sprinkled in tons of hidden ghosts throughout the show. So keep an eye out for those. Anything else you've been watching this week?
I'm gonna hold off the other ones that I saw that I actually like. There was one that I really loved, but for the sake of being October, last night I watched one that I've never seen. It's a so-called classic, and that's the Blair Witch Project from 1999, the original.
Oh boy,
the first one.
Oh boy,
never saw this sucker. But again, kind of like Halloween, it's so far ingrained into popular culture. I pretty much knew everything that I saw. Looking into the camera, crying, and apologizing, all of that. The dudes standing in the corner, like the way that it ended, the map thing, like so much of it, I knew, like I knew it was going to happen at some point, but to actually see it like all together, like this movie is actually pretty great. I was kind of surprised.
I remember really liking it. Back when it first came out.
It's such a great idea too. Like the woods are just fucking creepy. They're creepy.
Mm-hmm.
And then to get lost out there while you're trying to make this documentary with these asshole people, like it's pretty great. And it's simple.
Yeah, and then you sprinkle in like the little stick figures and stuff. It's a creepy movie. It's very effective.
Because I mean, you got to put yourself in their shoes. Like if you were at the woods are creepy enough, and now imagine yourself waking up and unzipping your tent, and there's a pile of rocks or a bundle of sticks with like a bloody thing wrapped up in some flannel. Like that would freak you the fuck out.
Yeah, and it's what spearheaded the whole found footage.
It sure did.
Thing,
good and bad.
I mean, there's some decent found footage movies out
there. Oh yeah, but I mean the scales are definitely tipped in one direction.
Absolutely.
We'll say.
All right, so that's surprising, and I'm happy you liked Blair Witch Project.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely helps that it's short. It's short. It knows not to overstay its welcome.
Yeah, definitely. One movie that's not short but not long enough was The Night Comes for Us, which is the new movie by Timo Tjahjanto. Probably, I'm sure I'm mispronouncing that, and I apologize, but it's on Netflix. Highly recommend watching it. If you're a fan of The Raid, this is a must watch. So you have, if you're familiar with Timo, who used to work under the Moe brothers, that used to be his. If you're familiar with his movies, especially more recently when he was working with Gareth Evans, and you're familiar with some of the actors from the Raid movies, like Joe Taslim and Iko Uwais and Julia Estelle, they're all in this movie. And Joe Taslim he's the lead. He plays Ito, who is a triad enforcer, and he is tasked with essentially killing a village, and he decides not to kill this little girl and instead kills all his men and takes the girl, goes on the run, joins up with some of his former gang friends who decide to help him try to get out of the country and get to freedom. But the triad finds out very quickly and they come after him. And the whole movie is just him versus the triads. And that's pretty much it. And it works so well because it is so over the top and insane that my jaw was on the floor the whole time. Like, I'm sitting here watching it. I'm just like audibly, like I find myself audibly shouting, "Oh shit," over and over again during this movie because it has some of the craziest action scenes you will ever see. That being said, it's not on the same level as the Raid. The fighting it's a little bit slower paced and it's like scrappier.
Yeah. Okay.
I wrote a review for this, and in my review, I described the Raid as like this elegant symphony of violence, whereas this is like a hardcore show in a mosh pit where it's like at least twice, I don't know, 100 times bloodier. This could pass for a horror movie. It is so gory. Like, it is unbelievable how bloody this movie is. And the level of violence is, the Raid movies, they're pretty violent. Like, there's some really crazy shit that happens in those movies. This movie ratchets everything up to 11. It is almost cartoonish at times in its level of violence and blood, but it's so much fun. You have a colorful cast of characters. Julia Estelle plays this hit woman who was hired to kill the triad leaders, and she goes after Ito as like her first target because she's not aware that he is no longer a triad. And then inevitably, after she finds out that he's no longer with them, she sort of helps him out. And Iko Uwais, he's actually the bad guy. So he's also a triad, and the two of them were like best friends. They were in this gang together. They both joined the triads, and Iko essentially takes his place as this triad leader. And the big boss man is like, you got to go kill him. So he's the bad guy in the movie. Sort of a bad guy. I mean, he's like a reluctant bad guy, but you get to see a lot of really great action, and it's all here. Like there's a lot of gunfights. There's a lot of knife fights, hand to hand, car fights, everything.
Yes. I love when people fight with cars. You don't see that often.
Everything. There's a scene. This is just a little scene. I'm not really giving anything away. There's a scene where Julia Estelle her character sort of reminds me of the lead in The Villainous, where she rides around on a motorcycle, but she has all this like badass weaponry. And there's a scene where she sets up these C4 explosives and leads these guys down a hallway and then blows them up with the C4. And you just see their bodies just exploding and limbs going everywhere. And
good Lord.
If you can get past, I mean, if you're okay with a lot of blood and gore, this is a must see. It is excellent. Just top notch. I loved it.
All right.
Yeah.
Pretty excited.
Yeah, definitely. You have to see it. I mean, it's on Netflix, so you can watch it.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. I'm gonna do it.
You can watch it at your leisure.
Yes. That's my favorite way to watch things.
All right, let's take a look at what's coming out in theaters this week. Got Johnny English Strikes Again. Have you ever seen any of the Johnny English movies?
I don't think I have, which is weird because I'm a huge Mr. Bean fan. but I've never seen any of the Johnny English stuff. And I had no idea that they were coming out with another Johnny English. Do we need another Johnny English? Truly?
Well, when the first one, let's see, the first one came out, I feel it was a long time ago, right? Like,
it feels like ages ago.
The first Johnny English was in 2003.
Wow. Because I would have guessed like 1993, maybe.
I think Mr. Bean was probably around far back. I don't know, man. I never saw any of the Johnny English movies either, and I don't care about this one.
But I mean, funny spy spoofs. Just I have no interest in that.
Nope.
We have Hunter Killer, which to me is the dumbest title I think I've ever seen. But I think this is also that Gerard Butler movie where it's like...
It's a submarine movie, I think, right?
Yeah, but they're like, we're helping Russia, I think, in this movie. Like, we're just like... We're like running down the stairs, tripping over furniture to help out Russia. Because, God, don't let anything happen to Russia.
Yeah, I'm not sure that that's the best movie to be releasing in the current political climate.
They know exactly what the fuck they're doing.
It does currently have a 36% on Rotten Tomatoes, so...
There you go.
Yeah, not sure about that. Suspiria comes out this week. What's your take on Suspiria? Are you excited for it?
I'm actually very anxious to see this. It's one of those things where I don't think it's going to be good, but at the same time, I need to see it. I really don't know what to feel about this movie. I don't think it should be remade.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I don't know how to feel about this movie. I'm excited for it, but I also question whether or not it needed to be remade, but at the same time, I'm interested to see what this director is going to be doing with the story. It seems significantly different than the original.
Yeah.
And I'm into that.
So, yeah, that's always good.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, it could be like a let the right one in situation where, you don't think that a remake is necessary, but then when it does come out, you're just like, all right, I'm into it. I'm sold.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to remake something, like, please reinterpret it at least. Like, don't just do the same thing with your style latched onto it.
Yeah,
at least
exactly.
Switch it up.
Indivisible comes out. I'm not sure what that's all about. Maybe a faith-based?
It looks like it might be. Also honoring our troops. Looks like he's kneeling. He's kneeling. Foreheads are pressed against each other because they're in love.
Yeah. So this is a extraordinary true story of Army chaplain Darren Turner and his wife Heather. With a strong faith-filled marriage, the Turners are ready to follow their calling, serving God.
Serving God in wartime. Because God's all about war. He's totally about it.
He is. He's a strong supporter of the war in Iraq.
He's all about the troops.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's a pass. Hard pass for that one for me.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
We have Silencio coming out. This is with Edward Norton. Haven't heard too much about this one. Looks like it might be all right. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Burning comes out, limited release.
You fucking love this one.
I didn't hate it. I'm concerned that my lukewarm reception of this made it sound like I actively didn't like it. I did like it.
You didn't like it.
I just wasn't. Wasn't blown away by it.
No, that's what I gathered from it. You slept most of the time. You absolutely hated it. You hated that day forever and always.
I would recommend seeing it. Let's just put it that way. London Fields comes out. This has a whopping 0% on Rotten Tomatoes.
It does. It also has a poster that looks like it's from the 90s.
Yeah, it definitely does. You got the heads in the smoke there. The smoke is creating the heads.
Oh God.
This is an Amber Heard film that I'm not exactly sure what happened, but she ended up like filing a lawsuit against the filmmakers or something. And this movie it was done a long time ago, but they had to like pull it from the release schedule, and it took a long time for it to come out because it's some sort of lawsuit.
I'll just say this. I hope Amber Heard's life gets immensely better.
Yeah.
Because she's been through some shit last couple of years, seems like.
Yeah, I think she's had a rough go of it. Border comes out. I'm interested in this one. This is also a limited release, of course. You wouldn't have a movie like this being released wide. Looks really odd and creepy, and I'm all about it. So, have you seen anything about this?
I have not. It's piquing my interest, though.
Yeah, this is one that
for this.
Yeah, I think that you're going to be into this one.
Okay.
Yeah. The Dark comes out, limited release also. This is one that I saw earlier this year at Tribeca, I believe. It's okay. It's a little bit of a horror story about this kid he's been kidnapped and horribly abused and blinded by his kidnapper, and he ends up escaping, and he ends up meeting this undead ghoul girl, and they develop this unlikely friendship. So Airstrike with Bruce Willis comes out in limited release also. Adrian Brody also is in that. So
yeah, looks like there's a plane, there's some fire.
He headlines this pulse-pounding epic about the courage of China's citizens during World War II.
Okay.
Directed by Xiao Feng. Looks pretty bad. Monrovia, Indiana comes out as well, as does Shirkers, Soulless.
I'm excited for that one. I'm excited for Shirkers.
Shirkers?
I am.
It's on Netflix, so.
I know. That has me even more excited. I don't even have to do anything and just come home and pop Netflix on and I can watch it.
All right, let's see what else we have here. Bullet County, Viper Club, The Long Shadow, and 1985 on VOD this week. October 22nd, we have Stolen Daughters, Kidnapped by Boko Haram. Then on the 23rd, we have Blessed Are the Children, Butterfly Kisses, Five Fingers for Marseille, which I feel like that's another one that we keep coming back to over and over again.
Yeah, it's weird that there's always a movie that seems to get stuck in a loop.
Yeah. An Elephant's Journey, Holy Hell, Snake Outta Compton.
There's a snake from Compton.
Yeah.
Do we know what snake? Is it a gardener snake? Is it a viper? Rattlesnake?
It's a mutant snake. It's a giant mutant snake.
So it's like a mutant anaconda.
It doesn't look like an anaconda. It doesn't look like a real snake at all. It's got it looks almost like a dragon.
Okay, like a dinosaur snake.
Yeah. It looks like there's somebody in it named Pinball and Neon.
Oh, hell yeah. Pinball and Neon? Are you kidding me?
And someone named Bee's Knees.
The fuck? Someone actually named themselves Bee's Knees.
That's what it says here.
Do they regret that? Do you think that they regret that? Because I would if I were them.
Probably. I would think that as their career progressed, they would regret calling themselves Bee's Knees with Z's, by the way.
Ooh.
So it's BEEZ NEEZ.
Yeah, that's a poor decision.
The true story of the world's most dangerous spoof, Snake Outta Compton. Check it out. October 23rd, VOD. We also have Dead Squad, Temple of the Undead. Then on the 24th, we have Stella's Last Weekend. Then on the 26th, we have Airstrike, Soulless, Killer Kate, and The Dark.
Okay.
Big VOD lineup. but not really a whole lot that I'm looking forward to here. A lot of
these pinball and neon, straight out of Compton Snake.
Straight out of Compton Snake. That's what they should have called it instead of Snake out of Compton. Straight out of Compton Snake. Oh my God, that's amazing. All right, let's see what's coming out on Blu-ray this week. We have a new Blu-ray edition of Creepshow coming out.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of Creepshow. I like the original Creepshow a lot. Maximum Overdrive coming out on the Vestron Collectors series. I love Maximum Overdrive, and I love the Vestron Collectors series, so I'm super excited that Maximum Overdrive's coming out on that series. Nice. Let's see what else we have. Sorry to Bother You coming out. Definitely recommend that one. Cross of Iron from 1977. Night of the Demons from 1988. The Evil Dead reboot from 2013 getting a new Blu-ray release. It's got a really cool cover. Let's see. Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again. Twilight's getting a 4K release. Deadbeat at Dawn from 1988 coming out on Arrow.
Yeah.
Great cover, great title. I'm in. Spontaneous Combustion from 1990.
Hold up. Did you say Spontaneous Combustion?
Yeah, I did.
The Hooper movie?
Yeah, but your voice sounds like super loud now.
Yeah, because I got the microphone in my mouth right now.
All right.
Fucking love that movie so goddamn much. That movie's fucking incredible. Are you kidding me? Oh my God, buy that shit.
I'm a pretty big fan of Spontaneous Combustion.
Dude, Spontaneous Combustion is just, oh my God.
It's so ridiculous.
It's fucking incredible. It's so good.
Yeah, highly recommend. Christopher Robin's coming out. I Think We're Alone Now. That's the Peter Dinklage, Elle Fanning one.
Okay.
Light recommend. I Bought a Vampire Motorcycle from 1990.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
yep,
sure.
Yeah.
I'm into that one. Blood and Black Lace getting a Blu-ray release, a new Blu-ray release. I'm not sure who's putting that out.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not like a, I don't know. It's not like an Arrow or anything, but
it seems like it would be an Arrow release.
I think that they did release it at some point.
Oh shit, everyone's just releasing it willy-nilly.
Not sure what that's all about. Let's see. The Muppet Movie from 1979 getting a new Blu-ray release. Brides of Blood from 1968 getting a Blu-ray release.
All right.
That's pretty much all I have. What about Criterion's this week?
Ooh, we have one Criterion. That's Brian De Palma's Sisters from 1973. If you've seen De Palma movies and you've seen his use of split screen, Sisters is where it started.
Yeah.
And man, the split screen that he utilizes in Sisters is just fucking insane. It's phenomenal. I mean, unfortunately, he's kind of like overused it through the years. So it's kind of like lost its power. But when you see it in Sisters, the way that it's used, man, it's incredible.
I love a good use of split screen.
Oh, and he uses it so well.
All right, I think that's going to do it for this week. Thank you so much for listening. You can send us your questions and topics to feedback@filmpulse.net. You can follow us on Twitter @filmpulse.net and @filmpulsekevin. And if you have a minute, take a look at our Patreon page, patreon.com/filmpulse. Consider helping us out by becoming a subscriber. For Kevin Rakestraw, my name's Adam Patterson. We'll see you next week.